Dad's selling the cabin. 3 words in a text from my 14-year-old grandson. No hi, Grandpa. No how are you. Just those 3 words that made my coffee go cold in my hand. The cabin my father built in 1947. The cabin where I taught my son to fish. The cabin he was about to sell without asking me. I made 1 phone call. Took maybe 90 seconds. What happened next made my son realize that some things aren't actually yours just because you think they are. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I'm Walter, 71 years old, retired from the electric company after 43 years. My wife Helen died 6 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. 4 months from diagnosis to funeral. My son Michael is 48, married to Vanessa for 20 years. They have 2 boys. Tyler just turned 14. His little brother Luke is 11. The text came on a Tuesday morning. March. Still cold in northern Michigan, where the cabin sits on 14 acres of pine and birch overlooking Clear Lake. I stared at my phone, rang it 3 times, called Tyler. He picked up on the first ring. Grandpa? Tell me what you heard. Mom was on the phone with a yacht broker. Dad came in and said, the cabin listing goes live tomorrow. We'll have the cash by June. Mom said, finally, I've wanted that Beneteau for 3 years. My jaw tightened. You're sure that's what he said? I was right there. They didn't know I was listening. Good boy. Don't tell them you told me. I won't. Grandpa, are they really selling it? We go there every summer. Not anymore, they're not. I'll call you later. I hung up. Set the phone down on the kitchen table, the oak table I'd built in my workshop. Same table where Helen and I had celebrated our 40th anniversary 8 months before she died. My hands were steady. That surprised me. I opened my filing cabinet, found the folder I was looking for. Inside was a deed. Property deed for the Clear Lake cabin and the 14 acres it sat on, dated November 1987. My father had signed it over to me when he turned 80 and moved to Arizona. Signed, notarized, recorded with the county. The cabin was mine. Had been for 36 years. In 1995, when Michael was 25, newly married, trying to start his contracting business, I'd done something generous, maybe stupid. I'd added his name to the deed as joint tenant with right of survivorship. He'd asked me to, said it would help him get business loans. Banks wanted to see assets. I'd believed him, signed the paperwork at the title company, never thought twice about it. That was before Vanessa. They got engaged 6 months after I added him to the deed. She showed up at family dinner with a ring the size of a marble and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Looked at our house, our furniture, asked Michael how much his inheritance would be worth. Helen had squeezed my hand under the table. She'd heard it too. The wedding cost $42,000. Michael asked if we'd contribute. I wrote a check for $15,000. My parents' entire wedding in 1945 had cost $67. Vanessa spent the honeymoon in Aruba. Came back with a tan and a portfolio from a financial advisor. Started talking about optimizing family assets and legacy planning. She was 23 years old. Michael changed after that. Slowly. The way a shoreline erodes. You don't notice until the tree falls in. He'd been a good kid. Eagle Scout, played hockey, worked construction summers to pay for community college, got his contractor's license, built his business from nothing. Then Vanessa got her real estate license, started showing houses, started wanting houses, bigger houses, started looking at our cabin like it was something on Zillow. You never use it anymore, she'd said at Christmas 3 years ago. It's just sitting there. We go up 6 times a year, I'd said. Twice a year, she'd corrected. And you only stay a weekend. Do you know what that property's worth? It's not for sale. She'd smiled. Of course not. I'm just saying. But she kept saying, every holiday, every birthday, every time they visited. The roof needs replacing. The septic is probably failing. Properties like that are selling for $500,000. Michael stopped looking at me during these conversations, just stared at his plate. After Helen died, they visited 4 times in 6 years. Once for the funeral. 3 duty visits. Each time stayed maybe 3 hours before Vanessa said they needed to get back. But they took the boys to the cabin every summer, used it for 2 weeks, sometimes 3. I'd offered to come up, help with the boys, teach them to fish like I'd taught Michael. "We've got it covered, Dad," Michael always said. "We'll send pictures." They never sent pictures. Last summer, Tyler had called me from the cabin. Vanessa had gone to the store. Michael was on the boat. "Grandpa, why don't you come up anymore?" "Your parents are busy with you boys." "No, they're not. Mom's on her phone the whole time. Dad drinks beer on the dock. Luke and I just play by ourselves." Something in my chest had tightened. "You having fun, though?" "I guess. It's better when you were here. Remember when you taught me to clean fish?" "I remember." "Could you come up next summer?" "We'll see, buddy." But next summer was now, and there wasn't going to be a cabin. I picked up my phone, dialed my lawyer. James Patterson, 74 years old, handled Helen's estate, handled my parents' estate, did my will. "Walter, what's wrong?" "The cabin. I need you to check the deed. Michael's name is on it, joint tenant. Can he sell without my signature?" Silence. Then keyboard clicking. "Hang on. Let me pull the record." I waited. Heard him breathing. More clicking. "Walter, I'm looking at the current deed. Recorded 1995. You and Michael, joint tenancy, with right of survivorship. In Michigan, either joint tenant can sell their interest without the other's consent. But to sell the entire property, you'd both need to sign. So he can't sell the whole thing? Not without your signature on the deed. But Walter, there's something else here." My stomach dropped. "What?" "There's a quit-claim deed filed in January. Michael transferred his interest to a family trust. Did you know about that?" "No." "It's called the Carson Family Trust. Michael Carson, trustee. That means he moved his half into a trust he controls. You still own your half outright, but his half is now trust property. Can he sell the trust's half?" "As trustee, yes. He can sell the trust's interest. Someone could buy a 50% interest in the property. Messy, but possible. More likely, if you refuse to sell your half, he could file a partition action. Force a sale. Split the proceeds." The coffee had gone completely cold. I hadn't touched it in 20 minutes. How do I stop him? "Did you want this property to go to Michael eventually?" "I did, before today." "Then we have options. You could buy out his interest. Or we could file a partition action first, beat him to it, control the process. Or what? Or you could deed your interest to someone else. Tyler, maybe. Your grandson. If Michael's planning to sell, he'll have to deal with a co-owner who isn't you. Might make things complicated enough that he backs off. Would that work?" "Possibly. But Walter, there's something you should know. If Michael's already got a buyer lined up, and that buyer is paying cash, they might not care about a messy title. Real estate investors sometimes buy partial interests just to force a partition sale." I closed my eyes. My father had built that cabin with his own hands. Cut the trees, poured the foundation, raised the walls, spent every summer there from 1947 until the stroke in 1987 made him move south. I'd learned to swim off that dock. Caught my first pike. Kissed Helen for the first time on the porch swing under the stars. Taught Michael to build a fire without matches. Taught Tyler to cast a fly rod in the shallows. And Michael was selling it to buy his wife a yacht. "Set up the deed," I said. "Tyler, my grandson. I'm deeding my half to him." "Walter, that's a big decision. Maybe sleep on it." "I'm not sleeping on anything. How fast can you do it?" "I can have it drawn up by tomorrow, but you'll need Tyler's parents to sign off if he's a minor." "He's 14. Then you need Michael's signature as his legal guardian." I laughed, bitter. "That's not happening." "Then we have a problem. You can't deed property to a minor without parental consent. But there's another option. You could put your interest in a trust. Name Tyler as beneficiary. You'd be the trustee until you die, then it goes to him. Michael couldn't touch it. Do that. Walter, do it, today. I'll come sign whatever you need. I'll have it ready by 3. I drove to his office, signed the papers. My half of the cabin now sat in the Walter Carson Revocable Trust. I was trustee. Tyler was sole beneficiary. When I died, he'd get my 50%. Michael could sell his half to whoever he wanted. They'd own it jointly with my trust. With Tyler, good luck selling a yacht with that mess. I didn't tell Michael, didn't call, didn't text. Just went home and waited. The call came Thursday. "Dad, we need to talk." I set down the book I'd been reading, one of Helen's mysteries. I'd been reading her favorites since she died, made her feel less gone. "About what?" "I'm selling the cabin. Vanessa and I have been discussing it, and we think it's the right move. The property's been sitting mostly unused. The maintenance costs are significant, and we have an opportunity to liquidate the asset." Liquidate the asset. That's what my father's cabin had become. "Mostly unused," I said. "You were there 3 weeks last summer." "Exactly. 3 weeks out of 52. That's inefficient." Inefficient. His mother and I had spent our honeymoon there, but it was inefficient. "You planning to ask me about this?" "Dad, I'm 48 years old. I don't need permission to make financial decisions." "You need my signature to sell it." Silence. Then, "We're joint tenants. I've consulted with a real estate attorney. I can sell my interest independently, or I can file a partition action and force a sale. Either way, the property gets sold." "So you're not asking. You're informing." "I'm giving you a courtesy call. The listing goes live tomorrow. We have a buyer interested. Cash offer. Closes in 60 days. "What's Vanessa want with the money?" Another silence. Longer. "That's not relevant. My grandson says she's buying a yacht. Tyler needs to stay out of adult conversations." He was standing in the room when she was on the phone with the broker. "Dad, what we do with the proceeds is our business." "Your mother died on that porch. Did you forget that?" His voice went cold. "Mom died in the hospital. We brought her back for her last week. Hospice. She wanted to see the lake one more time. You were too busy to visit. I was working. You were in Traverse City at a boat show with Vanessa. Tyler told me." "I'm not having this conversation. The cabin's being sold. You can cooperate and we'll split the proceeds, or I'll file a partition action and we'll both pay lawyer fees. Your choice." He hung up. I sat there holding the phone. Same phone I'd used to call him when Helen died. When I'd said, "It's time, you should come." And he'd said, "I'll try to get there by tonight." Showed up 3 days later. After she was already gone. The funeral had been a Tuesday. He'd left Wednesday morning. Work emergency. Vanessa had stayed for the luncheon. Spent the whole time on her phone. I opened my banking app, scrolled back through the transfers. $5,000. June 2019. "Dad, the truck needs a new transmission. Can you help?" 8,000. September 2019. "Business is slow. Might not make payroll." 12,000. March 2020. "Corona's killing us. I'm going to lose the company." 4,000. July 2020. "Boys need braces." 6,000. December 2020. "Furnace died." I kept scrolling. The transfers blurred together into a single continuous stream of help that had somehow become obligation. $22,000 in 2021. 18,000 in 2022. 14,000 in 2023. This year, I'd already sent 9,000. It was only March. $88,000 in 4 years. Not counting the 15,000 for the wedding. Not counting the 32,000 I'd given him to start his business in 1997. Not counting the 19,000 for the down payment on his first house in 2001. I'd never asked for any of it back. Never mentioned it. Just helped when he asked because that's what fathers do. And now he was selling the cabin to buy Vanessa a yacht. I called him back. Went to voicemail. "Michael, it's your father. I deeded my half of the cabin to a trust. Tyler's the beneficiary. You can sell your half if you want. Good luck explaining to your buyer that they'll co-own it with your 14-year-old son." I hung up. My phone rang 11 seconds later. "What did you do?" "Protected your son's inheritance." "You deeded property to Tyler without my permission?" "To a trust. I'm the trustee. Tyler gets it when I die, all completely legal. James Patterson handled it. You know James. He doesn't make mistakes." You senile old bastard. I hung up. He called back. I let it ring. He called 4 more times. I turned the phone off, went to bed, slept better than I had in months. Friday morning, my doorbell rang at 7:30. I was having coffee, same chair where Helen used to read the paper. Michael stood on my porch, Vanessa beside him, both dressed like they were going to court. Him in a suit. Her in one of those outfits that cost more than my first car. I opened the door, didn't invite them in. Morning. We need to talk, Michael said. I'm listening. Inside, Dad. This isn't a conversation for the porch. I'm comfortable here. Vanessa's smile could have frozen the lake. Walter, what you did is elder abuse. Transferring assets under duress. We've spoken to an attorney. I wasn't under duress. I was protecting my property from being sold without my consent. The property's jointly owned, Michael said. You don't have the right. I have every right. It's my half. I can do what I want with it. Same as you did when you transferred yours to a trust in January without telling me. His face went red. That was legitimate estate planning. So is this. Vanessa stepped closer. She was tall, taller than Michael, used to intimidate people with it. You're making a mistake. Michael has every right to file a partition action. The court will force a sale. You'll lose the cabin anyway and pay legal fees on top of it. Maybe, but it'll take 2 years minimum, maybe 3. Tyler will be 17 by then, old enough to make his own decisions about what happens to his inheritance. His inheritance? Michael's voice cracked. That's my property. Was your property. You signed it over to a trust. I signed my half over to a different trust. Now it's trust property, both halves. You can't do this. Already did. Michael grabbed the door frame, knuckles white. I need this sale. The buyer's paying $475,000 cash. Closes in 60 days. What do you need $475,000 for? He didn't answer. Vanessa did. We're purchasing a yacht. Beneteau Oceanus 51.1. It's an investment. Charter income potential. You're buying a yacht. It's a sound financial decision. I looked at my son. Really looked at him. When had he become this person? Your mother and I spent our honeymoon at that cabin. 50 years ago. You were conceived there. Did you know that? His face went white. September 1974. There's a mark on the wall in the bedroom where your crib used to sit. I carved your initials there when you were 2 weeks old. MJC, Michael James Carson. It's still there. Dad, I taught you to fish off that dock. You caught your first bass when you were 7. Threw it back because you said it was too pretty to keep. You remember that? He looked away. Your mother died wanting to see that lake one more time. I brought her back from the hospital. Hospice set up on the porch. She spent 6 days looking at the water. Asked for you every day. You came once. Stayed 40 minutes. Said you had to get back. I had work. You had a boat show. Tyler told me. You were in Traverse City looking at yachts while your mother was dying. Vanessa's voice cut in. This is emotional manipulation. Get off my porch. Walter, get off my porch before I call the police and tell them you're trespassing. Michael pulled Vanessa back. Dad, be reasonable. I'm done being reasonable. I've been reasonable for 30 years, given you money every time you asked. Never said no, never asked for it back. You know how much? He didn't answer. $173,000, not counting the cabin. I've got every transfer documented, every check, every wire. Want to see the spreadsheet? You kept track? Helen kept track. She started in 1995, updated it every month, called it the Michael Fund, told me before she died that I should stop, that you'd never appreciate it, that Vanessa was poisoning you. Vanessa's face went hard. How dare! She was right. I should have listened. But I kept helping because you're my son, because that's what fathers do. I stepped back inside, put my hand on the door. The cabin stays in the trust. Tyler gets my half when I die. You want to sell yours, that's your business. But good luck finding a buyer who wants to co-own with a teenager. I closed the door, threw the deadbolt. Michael pounded on it. Dad, open the door. I walked back to the kitchen, poured more coffee. Let him pound. He gave up after 5 minutes. I heard the car start. Heard them leave. My phone buzzed. Text from Michael. "This isn't over," I typed back. "Yes, it is." Blocked his number. Another text came through, Vanessa. "You're a bitter old man who can't stand seeing his son succeed. Michael's better off without you." I blocked her too. The house was quiet. Same quiet it had been since Helen died, but different somehow. Cleaner. Saturday morning Tyler called. "Grandpa, Dad's really mad." "I bet he is. He said you stole the cabin from him." "I protected my half. He still owns his. He said he's getting a lawyer." "Let him. How are you doing, buddy?" Silence. Then, "Why'd you put it in my name?" "Because it should be yours. You love that place. Your dad's forgotten why it matters. I don't want you guys to fight because of me." "We're not fighting because of you. We're fighting because he tried to sell something that wasn't entirely his without asking me. That's different." "Is the cabin really mine now?" "When I die, you'll own half. Your dad owns the other half. But yes, it'll be yours." "What if he sells his half?" "Then you'll have a co-owner, somebody else who owns the other half. You'll have to work it out together." "What if I can't afford the taxes?" Smart kid, thinking ahead. "I'm setting up a fund, separate account. Should cover property taxes for 30 years. You'll be 44 by the time it runs out." "You already thought of everything." "I had a good teacher, my father, your great-grandfather. He built that cabin with his own hands, you know." "I know, you told me. I'll tell you again sometime. Come visit me. I'll make you lunch." "Can I come today?" I smiled. First time in 3 days. "Yes, you can." He showed up at noon, on his bike, 8 miles from his house. I made him a sandwich, turkey and Swiss, same kind I used to make him when he was little. We sat at the kitchen table. "Dad says you're being selfish," Tyler said. "Probably looks that way to him. Mom says the cabin's worth a lot of money and you're keeping it from them. Your mom married your dad 2 months after I put his name on the deed. You know that?" "No." "She showed up at dinner asking about his inheritance. Your dad and I owned that cabin together for 1 month before she came into the picture." Tyler ate his sandwich, thinking. "Do you hate her?" "No. I hate what she's turned your father into." "That's different." "What did she turn him into?" "Someone who looks at everything like it's for sale. Someone who measures relationships by what they're worth. Someone who'd sell his father's cabin to buy a yacht. He talks about money all the time now." "I know. Mom does too. They had a huge fight last week about whether to remodel the kitchen or buy the boat. Mom won." "Who usually wins?" Tyler looked at his plate. "Mom." We finished eating. I showed him Helen's garden. She'd been growing tomatoes and peppers for 40 years. I'd kept it going after she died. Something to do with my hands. "Grandma loved this garden," Tyler said. "She did?" "I miss her." "Me too, buddy." He helped me weed. We didn't talk much, just worked. Same way I used to work with my father. When he got ready to leave, I handed him an envelope. "What's this?" "Deed. Copy of the trust documents. Keep them somewhere safe, somewhere your parents won't find them." "Why?" "Because when I die, you'll need them to prove the cabin's yours, and I don't trust your father not to try something." His eyes went wet. "Grandpa, don't talk about dying. I'm 71, Tyler, healthy as I can be, but I won't be around forever. When I'm gone, you need to be ready. You need to know what's yours and how to protect it." He nodded, tucked the envelope in his backpack. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Why didn't you just let him sell it? If he needs the money." "He doesn't need the money. He wants a yacht. That's different. And if I let him sell it, you'd never get it back. Your kids would never get it back. Great-grandpa built that place to last. 3 generations have used it. I'm not letting it disappear because your mother wants to play sailor." He hugged me, tight. Didn't let go for a long time. "I love you, Grandpa." "I love you too, bud." He rode away. I watched until he turned the corner. The next week was quiet. No calls, no texts, no surprise visits. Then the letter came. Certified mail. Law office in Grand Rapids. Michael had filed a partition action. James called me before I even finished reading it. They're forcing a sale. Can they? Yes, Michigan allows partition by sale when co-owners can't agree. The court will order the property sold at auction and split the proceeds. How long? Year, maybe 18 months. We can fight it, drag it out, but eventually they'll win. What's the best outcome? You could buy out Michael's interest. Court would allow that. What's the property worth? They said $475,000. Half is $237,000. Can you afford that? I thought about my accounts. Pension, Social Security, Helen's life insurance. The house paid off, savings. I can. Then we make that offer, before the auction. Tell the court you're willing to buy his interest at fair market value. Saves everyone the auction fees and costs. Judge might order it. Do it. Walter, that's most of your savings. I know. You'd be land rich and cash poor. The cabin's worth it, he sighed. I'll file the response. But Walter, there's something you should consider. What? Even if you buy him out, you'll own it jointly with the trust. Tyler's trust. When you die, he'll own it outright. But until then, you'll be maintaining the property, paying taxes, doing upkeep, all on your own dime. I've been doing that for 36 years. Fair point. I'll get the paperwork filed. The court date was set for July, 3 months away. Michael didn't call, didn't text, just waited for the judge to force the sale. Vanessa posted on Facebook. I wasn't on Facebook, but my neighbor Barbara showed me. Some people prioritize their own stubbornness over their children's well-being, praying for wisdom and healing. 43 people liked it. 11 commented. So sorry you're going through this. Family can be so difficult. You're in my thoughts. Barbara looked at me. You want to respond? No. Walter, people believe her. Let them. She's making you look like the bad guy. Barbara, anyone who knows me knows the truth. Anyone who doesn't know me won't be convinced by a Facebook comment. Let her have her audience. You're better than me. I'd blast her. That's why you're divorced 3 times and I was married 51 years. She laughed. Fair. But the Facebook post worked. People I'd known for decades started looking at me different. At church, at the grocery store, the hardware store. Tom Bennett, who'd worked with me at the electric company for 20 years, stopped me in the parking lot. Walter, is everything okay? Fine. Why? I saw Vanessa's post about family stuff. Everything's fine, Tom. If you need to talk, I don't. But thank you. He nodded. Didn't look convinced. That's what Vanessa did. Poisoned the well. Made people doubt. Helen would have handled it better. She'd have called Vanessa out publicly, politely, with a smile. Made her look like the problem without raising her voice. I wasn't Helen. So I just kept going. Church on Sunday, garden on Monday, groceries on Tuesday. Same routine I'd had for 6 years. Tyler called every week, mostly just to talk. Sometimes about school, sometimes about his brother, sometimes about his parents. They're fighting a lot, he said in May. About what? Money. Dad says the lawyer's expensive. Mom says it's worth it. How are you holding up? I'm okay. Luke doesn't really get what's happening. He just knows Dad's mad at you. What does he know? That you won't sell the cabin. That Dad needs the money. That's what they told him. What do you think? Long silence. I think Mom wants a yacht and Dad's letting her control him. Smart kid. June came. Still no word from Michael directly. Just legal filings, motions, responses. James handled it all. The court date was July 15th, Wednesday. 10 a.m. I drove to Grand Rapids. James met me at the courthouse. Michael's here, with Vanessa and their lawyer. Okay. Walter, they're going to make you look unreasonable. Their argument is that you're blocking a legitimate sale out of spite. Let them argue. We went inside. Courtroom B. Judge Maria Santos presiding. Michael sat at the plaintiff's table, Vanessa beside him. Their lawyer was young, maybe 35, looked confident. Michael didn't look at me, just stared straight ahead. The judge came in. We stood. sat. She read the case number. Partition action. Michael Carson versus Walter Carson, et al. Et al. Was Tyler's trust. The young lawyer stood. Your Honor, this is a straightforward partition case. The property is jointly owned. The co-owners cannot agree on its use or disposition. My client wishes to sell. The defendant refuses. We're asking the court to order a partition by sale and distribute the proceeds according to ownership interest. Judge Santos looked at James. Response? James stood. Your Honor, my client is willing to purchase the plaintiff's interest at fair market value. We've obtained an appraisal showing the property's worth $460,000. Defendant offers to buy plaintiff's 50% interest for $230,000. This would avoid auction costs and resolve the matter cleanly. The young lawyer jumped up. Your Honor, the plaintiff rejects that offer. He's entitled to force a sale under Michigan statute. Why? The judge interrupted. If the defendant is offering fair market value, why force an auction? The lawyer hesitated. Your Honor, the plaintiff has concerns about the defendant's ability to maintain the property going forward. An auction would ensure a clean sale to a third party. Translation: they wanted me out, wanted the cabin gone. Not just Michael's half, all of it. Judge Santos looked at Michael. Mr. Carson, do you have reason to believe your father can't maintain this property? Michael stood. Your Honor, my father is 71 years old. The property requires significant upkeep. I'm concerned about his ability to handle that responsibility long term. Is your father in poor health? No, but is he mentally incompetent? No, Your Honor. Then what's the basis for your concern? Michael glanced at his lawyer. Vanessa leaned forward, whispered something. Your Honor, this is about more than just maintenance. My father has made decisions recently that suggest impaired judgment. James stood. Objection. That's inflammatory and unsupported. Judge Santos raised her hand. Mr. Carson, are you alleging your father is incompetent? I'm saying his recent actions have been irrational. He transferred his interest in the property to a trust benefiting my son without consulting me. That's his right. It's his property. He did it to sabotage my sale. Or to protect his grandson's inheritance. That's a matter of intent, not competence. She looked at James. Does your client have documentation of his mental fitness? James pulled a folder from his briefcase. Yes, Your Honor. Cognitive evaluation performed by Dr. Richard Stein on June 3rd. Perfect score. Dr. Stein's letter states that Mr. Walter Carson shows no signs of dementia, cognitive decline, or impaired judgment. He handed it to the bailiff. The bailiff handed it to the judge. She read it, took her time, looked up. Mr. Carson, your father appears to be of sound mind. His decision to protect his grandson's inheritance is reasonable. I'm inclined to approve the buyout offer. Do you have any legitimate reason why I shouldn't? The young lawyer stood again. Your Honor, the plaintiff needs the full sale proceeds for financial planning purposes. A buyout of only his interest doesn't meet his needs. That's not a legal argument. Your client is entitled to his share of the value. He's not entitled to force a sale just because he wants more money. Vanessa stood up. The lawyer tried to pull her down. She shook him off. Your Honor, this is about family. Walter is punishing my husband because we didn't visit enough after his wife died. This whole thing is revenge. Judge Santos's face went cold. Ma'am, sit down. He's manipulating his grandson. Tyler's only 14. Ma'am, sit down now or I'll hold you in contempt. Vanessa sat. Face red. The judge looked at Michael. Is that your position? That this dispute is personal? Michael didn't answer. Mr. Carson, I asked you a question. Your Honor, my relationship with my father is complicated. Most are, but that doesn't give you the right to force a property sale when he's offering to buy you out at fair value. Unless you have a legal argument for why I should order an auction, I'm ruling in favor of the defendant. The young lawyer tried one more time. Your Honor, we request a delay to obtain our own appraisal. Denied. You've had 3 months. The defendant's appraisal is thorough and independent. Mr. Walter Carson will purchase Mr. Michael Carson's 50% interest for $230,000. Closing within 60 days. Any objections? Silence. Then we're done here. She banged the gavel. Michael stood up, walked out without looking at me. Vanessa followed, stopped at the door, turned around. You'll die alone, Walter, and when you do, nobody will care. She left. James packed his briefcase. Congratulations, the cabin's yours. Half of it. The other half's in trust for Tyler. Close enough. We walked out. Michael and Vanessa were gone. I drove home, got there around 2, made a sandwich, sat in Helen's chair. The house was quiet. Tyler called at 4. Grandpa, Mom said you won in court. I did. So the cabin's not being sold? Not unless I sell it. I bought your dad's half. With what? Money I've been saving. How much? $230,000. He was quiet. Then, that's a lot. It's worth it. Dad's really mad. I know. He said he's never speaking to you again. Something in my chest tightened. How do you feel about that? I don't know. He's being mean, but he's still my dad. You don't have to choose sides, Tyler. You can love both of us. Can you? I thought about that. Could I still love Michael after this? I can love who he used to be, I said. I'm not sure I know who he is now. That's sad. It is. We talked for a while longer. About school, about summer, about the cabin. Can I come visit this summer? He asked. Anytime you want. It's your place, too. I'll bring Luke. He misses you. I miss him, too. After we hung up, I sat there until dark. Didn't turn on the lights, just sat. Helen's voice in my head. You did the right thing. I hoped so. The closing happened in August. Michael didn't come, sent his lawyer with the signed documents. I wired the money, got the deed. The cabin was mine and Tyler's trust. I drove up there in September. First time in 2 years. The place looked the same. Porch swing still hanging, dock still solid, water still clear. I walked inside. Smelled like pine and old wood and memory. Found the bedroom, the mark on the wall, MJC, carved when Michael was 2 weeks old. I stood there looking at it for a long time. Tyler came up the next weekend, brought Luke. I taught them to clean fish, to build a fire, to read the water for where the bass hide. Same things my father taught me. Same things I'd taught Michael. Luke caught a northern pike, 3 pounds. Threw it back because he said it was too pretty to keep. Same thing Michael had said 40 years ago. Some things stay in the blood. Tyler helped me fix the dock, replace some boards, restain the wood. Think Dad will ever come back here? He asked. I don't know. Do you want him to? I hammered in another nail. I want him to remember why this place matters, why family matters more than yachts. But I can't make him remember. He has to figure that out himself. What if he doesn't? Then you'll remember for him. And someday you'll bring your kids here. And you'll tell them about great-great-grandpa who built this place. And about great-grandma who loved the water. And maybe about me, if you feel like it. I'll tell them about you, about how you saved the cabin. I didn't save it. I just kept it from being sold. Your job is to make sure it stays worth keeping. We finished the dock, sat on the end, feet in the water, watched the sun go down over the trees. I'm glad it's ours, Tyler said. Me too, bud. Michael never called, never texted. Christmas came and went. No card, no call, nothing. I sent gifts for Tyler and Luke. Sent them to Tyler's phone. Had them delivered to school so Michael wouldn't intercept them. Tyler called on Christmas. Got your package. Luke loves the tackle box. Good. You guys doing okay? Yeah. Dad and Mom got their yacht. They're at the marina every weekend now. They take you? Sometimes. Mostly it's just them. You can come stay here anytime. You know that. I know. Maybe spring break? Sounds good. We said goodbye. I spent Christmas alone. First time ever. Ate leftover ham, watched a movie. Went to bed early. Helen's voice in my head again. You're not alone. You've got Tyler. She was right. February brought another letter. Not from Michael. From a law firm. Helen's sister Margaret had died. Left me $10,000 in her will. I put it in the cabin fund, the one for property taxes. Tyler would have 40 years of taxes covered now instead of 30. March brought Tyler's birthday. I took him to dinner, just the two of us. 15, I said. Getting old. You're old. I'm just getting started. Fair point. We ate steaks, talked about school, about Luke, about summer plans. Dad got promoted, Tyler said. He's managing 3 crews now. Good for him. He bought a bigger yacht, sold the first one. Already? Mom wanted one with 3 cabins instead of 2. I didn't say anything, just cut my steak. Grandpa, do you think he'll ever apologize? Honestly, no. He'd have to admit he was wrong. That's hard for most people. It shouldn't be. No, but it is. We finished dinner. I drove him home. Watched him walk inside. Michael's truck in the driveway. New, big, expensive looking. I drove home. Sometimes you don't get apologies. You don't get closure. You don't get the ending you wanted. You just get to protect what matters and hope it's enough. The cabin sits on Clear Lake. 14 acres. Pine and birch. Water so clear you can see 20 feet down. Tyler will get it when I die. His name's on the trust. His inheritance is protected. Michael's got his yachts. Vanessa's got her status. They've got what they wanted. I've got the cabin, and Tyler, and Luke, when he's old enough to understand. Sometimes that's enough. Most times, actually. Helen would say I did the right thing, stood my ground, protected what mattered. I hope she's right. I think she is. If you like this story, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on the window on the right. Thank you for being with us.